Alright, Shalom Hebrews. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. Alright, Israelites, I would like to try to convey this message over is how you can see in the Tanakh where they was trying to put the YAH worship out and they didn't want YAH worship around. And I can show different ethnic groups and different peoples and leaders that worshiped Almighty Yah and believed in it, and that somewhere down the line, the baton was passed to us Israelites, and we were supposed to be the final recipients and guiders and priests and ministers and everything for Yah worship, and that we fumbled the ball, and we fumbled, and we Israelites need to get an understanding, that is a entity here on earth that don't want Yah worship and will go through any lengths to try to harm and damage Yah worship, and it can be through other people too. It can be through people close to you. Man, if they know that you do Yah worship and believe in Yah worship, and that they'll go all out and they'll make it seem nice and righteous to a person, and sometimes a Yah worshiper can lose their way. Especially if you ain't strong in Yah worship, and then Yah worship is just thinking about Almighty Yah, man, before you do a lot of things wrong. And we know that we can't hold that exact covenant that he gave us when we was on the land, but a lot of this evilness and wickedness we can resist and so forth. But those who don't believe in Almighty Yah go through extra lengths and extra means to try to stop Yah worship. For some reason, they don't come after the Buddha worshippers. They don't come after the religions and so forth. That they don't have a hard time that the religions fight against each other, but the religions are basically not trying to extinguish themselves and how they have respect for each other. It's just that they be fighting over the greed and who gonna manipulate and control people in certain areas with certain doctrines and so forth. But I can show easily how that they don't want Yah worship on the earth, and the multiple God systems were trying to stop Yah worship, trying to close it down. They were trying to put the lights out of Yah worship, and they'll do that today. And that's done now today through these religions that was created off the Israelites' covenant, which was supposed to be pure Yah worship. But we know how we was contaminated and tricked out the covenant and so forth. And I want to show that the Egyptians, it's verses in the Tanakh that say that the Egyptians would believe in Almighty Yah, and I want to show that it was some Egyptians that left with us doing Exodus, and that they eventually had to learn about Almighty Yah, and then I could show that when our father Jacob was in Egypt, that the Pharaoh there had respect meaning to our father Jacob and knew that he was in Canaan and so forth. And then I could show that another king system come on that didn't know the work of Joseph. That's gonna be the Egyptians from what you would call Upper Egypt. Upper Egypt. The the Upper Egypt was by the by the by the Nile. I think that's what's, the Nile coming down in Nubia and so forth. The and Lower Egypt is gonna be, you know, the coast and so forth like that, and how it was two different Egyptians and two different Egyptian systems. The Mishwish tribes controlled what you would say was the uh, uh, was Lower Egypt, and in the Upper Egypt, yes, Upper Egypt was controlled by the Nubian stock. The Sudan Nubian stock and so forth, and then the lower lower Egyptians controlled Libya and so forth. Libya and around these parts, so they got pyramids in ancient Libya and so forth that they don't talk about. See, we get the division of Africa with these borders from the League of Nations, and how Egypt went way over here into the lower Libya and so forth, and that they got pyramids and so forth, where the Mishwish tribes had a Asiatic association and so forth, and that they was associated with the Assyrian Empire, gonna be like they brothers in a sense, they distant brothers and so forth, and they cousins, and they was Hamites too. They was Hamites, but they gonna be Hamites that had like a Mesopotamia, ancient Babylon, like Akkadian connection, Sumerian, Canadian, Akkadian connection, and so forth. And let me see if I can. Man, I wish I had some things to show this, but the Mishwish tribes are gonna control uh, Lower Egypt, and then they was a start. Oh yeah, I can look in the Tanakh, man, and show this right. And then I think I would go to I think it would probably be Nahum when they talk about Assyria's destruction. Assyria's capital was Nineveh. And sure enough, Nahum, the prophet Nahum, came in 697 BCE, and then after he laid his message down on the Assyrian Empire for acting wicked and following after the non-believers from Babylon, and then how that they lost their way. The Assyrians were YAH worshippers too. That they was YAH worshippers. The whole earth was YAH worshippers at one time, until the serpent worship started taking over, and the serpent worship started taking over all over, everywhere, all over the earth, and it was closing in on the main important YAH worshippers and so forth. But you see, after Prophet Nahum went to Assyria, and made his prophecies about Assyria, Nineveh's destruction, you see immediately that Assyria went to Egypt, and reestablished a relationship with they folks that they had already had established a relationship with. Now these gonna be the ones that worship Almighty Yah. When Jonah went to Nineveh and so forth, when Jonah went to Nineveh and told them to get right and put on sackcloth, where the serpents were starting to show up in Nineveh and make them change their ways, as it did all the other nations and culture. The Nephilim serpent worshippers, descendants, will come mix in with the folks, and then the folks will start losing their way. they'll start losing their way and they would abandon Yah worship. Alright, look here. When you go to that'll be Nahum 7. That'll be no Nahum chapter 2 verse 7. Let me see if I can pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up in the Tanakh. And then that'll help some too with some clarity if I can find it. Nahum. Yeah, so man, a lot was going on in the earth, but it was about Yah worship, and it was like a tug of war. You got folks that that don't worship the serpent descendants that didn't worship Almighty Yah and didn't get no instructions, as well as Cain descendants. Cain descendants didn't get no instruction on the worship of Almighty Yah, and they gonna be mixing with the fallen angelic beings, and they will go into different nations, take over different nations, and so forth. They got the Canaanite tribes, and that's why we were supposed to destroy the Canaanite tribes and inherit their land. Because when the Nephilim, non-Yah worshippers take over, is when the unnatural acts and sins come into the world. See, it's natural to them because they didn't get Almighty Yah's guidance. So they gonna be wanting to do all kind of wicked stuff, and that's the wickedness that we was told not to do. That's in the Canaanite culture. That's in the Tanakh. I would read some of the stuff where Almighty Yah say, "Don't follow the ways of the Canaanites," and then He laid out a whole bunch of the stuff that they did. A whole bunch of the stuff that they did, and we wasn't supposed to do none of that stuff. All right, and then you go to. Let me see, what's that'll be? Nahum. No, that'll be Nahum 3, I think. 3. Yes, let's see. Look at this, showing that Assyria had a strong connection with the Hamites, was basically they folks. Alright, that'll be 8. 3, 8. 3, 8. Let me see. Were you any better than No Moab, and which is set at the Nile, surrounded by water, and its rapid river, its walls consisting of seals, populous Nubal, teeming Egypt, Put, and the Lydians. You see, here it is, right here. See, look. All right. This is Nahum 3, and this is Assyria's Nineveh's power right here, and this gonna be its relatives right here, the Hamites, and some of these. All right, see, look, all right, Nineveh has been ravaged, and all right, it's telling you, all right, surround, all right, where is any better than No Ammon, which is set by the Nile, surrounded by water, its rampant river, its wall consisting of sea, populous Nubia, and teeming Egypt, Put in the Libyans. That's going to be a serious strength. Those folks from men inside Africa. See, they were her helper, yet even she was exiled. She went into captivity. So that should look, and it makes sense that and I show you when Prophet Nahum made that proclamation, against Nineveh, Assyria, they took off. They hurry up, meaning got on down. They got destroyed in 612 BCE. The Ashkenazi and them destroyed the Assyrian Empire, and the Egyptians. Them folks that I just read off, that was the Assyrians' helper. They got destroyed in what's called the Battle of Carchemish. The Assyrian Empire had got destroyed by what Prophet Nahum had said. Before then, the Assyrians worshiped Almighty Yah because Jonah went there. But those non-believers started to pop up and get in numbers that we call the beast, and them gonna be people with a beastly character and nature and do all kind of unnatural things and so forth. And the sins in the Tanakh is the things that they live by on a daily basis and so forth. All the robbing, the killing, the stealing, the murdering, and you name it. That was part of the beastly folks' culture. And then they had got into Assyria and stopped Assyria from believing in Almighty Yah. Man, I'm going to show it. And let's go to Prophet Jonah. And then I'm going to show that the Egyptians, that when we was there under our father Jacob, that's gonna be that Nubian Assyrian stock, like the Mishwish tribes, and then how that they would believe in the Almighty Yah. That they ain't have no problems with it. And then when that Nubian, Ethiopian, Sudan stock come on, men from Upper Egypt, and then how that they wouldn't believe in Almighty Yah and so forth, and that how that they was like more on the serpent side, and them gonna be them Egyptians with them serpent heads and them serpent bodies, half dog, half human heads and stuff, because the Nephilims had got into them and caused they disbelief in Almighty Yah. And then that would be expressed in Exodus when a Pharaoh come on that didn't know Joseph or our works, or and he didn't respect us being connected to Almighty Yah, as I could show that Pharaoh didn't believe in the Creator. Pharaoh didn't believe in the Creator, and you can see this by going to go to Exodus 5, and look. And afterward Moses and Aaron went in and told Pharaoh, "This saith the Elohim Yah of Israel, let my people go, that they may hold a feast unto me in the wilderness." And Pharaoh said, "Who is the Elohim that I should obey his voice to let Israel go? I know not the Elohim, neither would I let Israel go." Now that's gonna be that Pharaoh of that Ethiopian like stock, because if you go to let me see uh uh Genesis 47, when this Pharaoh was on. I show you it's the difference. It's the Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt, and the upper Egyptians gonna be like that Nubian like stock, and then the Lower Egyptians gonna be like that Mishwish Libyan stock, who we had a connection with, who Joseph would have two children by Asenath, Manasseh and Ephraim. And then that connection destroyed us too, because eventually the Hamite Egyptian stock that ruled Egypt would use its connection to corrupt the Israelite nation and make it think that it could lean on a demigod system with its multiple god system, and that we could trust in it for salvation, and we was eventually destroyed and so forth. Man, all the breakdown is to that the serpent get into different nations and peoples, and the thing is to stop Yah worship or to disrupt it. or to disrupt YAH worship. Alright, look here, Israelites. Alright. Then Joseph came and told Pharaoh and said, my father, my brethren, and their flocks and their herds and all that they have are come out of the land of Canaan, and behold, they are in the land of Goshen. And he took some of his brethren, even 5 of them, and presented them unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto his brethren, what is your occupation? And they said unto Pharaoh, thy servants are shepherds, both we and our fathers. And they have, and Pharaoh, for sojourn in the land are we come, for thy servants have no pasture for their flocks. You know what I'm saying? So look, and Pharaoh spake unto Joseph, saying, thy father and thy brethren are come unto thee. The land of Egypt is before thee. In the best of the land make thy father and brethren to dwell in the land of Goshen. See, look, and Joseph brought in Jacob his father and set him before Pharaoh. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh. Now, why would our father Jacob bless a non-believing a person and stuff that ain't gonna believe in the Creator? He can't get no blessings from the Creator, and that'll be crazy for our father to have did that. But I showed you that it was two kind of Egyptians, two kind of Egyptians. It was two kind of Egyptians. It was the lower Egyptians and it was the upper Egyptians. And the lower Egyptians was of that Libyan stock, and they was called the Mishwish tribes. Right now today, they'll try to make you think that the Mishwish tribes were some Berbers and come off of the sea people stock that eventually settled northern Africa and so forth. The Dead Sea people stock eventually settled North Africa and stuff. They want you to think that they are the sea peoples and stuff. Really ain't nothing but a Phoenician Amorite group that they just couldn't sail directly into Egypt, but sail to these other parts and settle and stuff. And a lot of Israelites don't know that those Assyrians and Egyptians and all of them congregated with us. We congregated in the Mishwish last little empire under the name Gramentian. We controlled it, and when we went into Africa in the book of Jeremiah to do the Egyptian religion, we went and sojourned with them folks somewhere where Ashkenazi and the Babylonians them couldn't get us, and we would eventually, be enslaved in Africa, fulfilling them curses for abandoning YAH worship. Like I say, the whole thing is to get you off YAH worship. But look here, look. All right, look. This is Exodus 1:8. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph, and said unto his people. So that's gonna be that Nubian, Nubian, Sudan stock that held control of Upper Egypt, and then that Libyan Mishwish stock that had a connection all the way into Mesopotamia with Assyria, gonna be from Africa, Egypt, the Mishwish tribes. And we had a connection with that stock right there that had a connection that went all the way into Mesopotamia. And we would do trade. We would do trade with that stock, not with that Nubian Hamite stock, but with that Libyan Mishwish stock that we was kind of like associated with and so forth. And then let me see if I can pull that up. Yeah, we did trade with that stock. Alright, it's a whole lot of history that I could show concerning that Mishwish stock that we did trade with, and then let's show that they believed in Almighty Yah, the folks in Assyria, and then that's when the beasts start coming in, corrupting them and so forth. You know, and then I can show all kind of stuff about Egypt all day. All right, look. Now the word of the Elohim, and then this is in 670 BCE. This ain't too long. Men before men in Syria change and so forth, and because them beasts was up in there, and they uh, uh extinguished the Yah worship, and then the god system from ancient Babylon, which controlled Assyria at times, and well, Assyria controlled it at times, would come into play, and that system, the multiple god system, wouldn't want no Yah worship. Look, now the word of the Elohim came unto Jonah, the son of Atta, saying, Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and cry against it, for the wickedness is come on before me. I mean, I said I was going to show the Israelites doing trade there too. So let's go to, let's see what that'll be. If I can find it ain't Zechariah, and it ain't Habakkuk. It ain't Habakkuk, it ain't nobody. It's gonna be, name it's Hosea. That's the book. Now the Israelites did trade with that stock, that mishwish, a Libyan stock that would believe in the Creator, because you just seen our father Jacob just blessed Pharaoh, and then another Pharaoh system come on that didn't know Joseph. That's gonna be that Nubian Ethiopian stock. All right, this is the stock that Libyan stock that we associated with, as I just showed in Nahum, they did name the Libyans. Look, Ephraim feedeth on wind and followeth after the east wind. He daily increases lies and desolation. And they do make a covenant with the Assyrians. And all is carried into Egypt. All right, all is going to be carried to these folks right here. The Mishwish tribes. Look, Libyans look put, and Libyans look popular. Egypt put, in Libyans, but this what Assyria's strength was. It consisted, men of those African nations and so forth, but them gonna be the ones that's gonna lead the show, the Libyans, the Mishwish tribes, and them the ones that control Upper Egypt. And then one of they wicked kings, King Necho, would have King Josiah killed, who was trying to, stop the Assyrians and them from trespassing Yah worshiping land, because them folks had abandoned Yah worship, by that time, and man, they was trying to extinguish Yah worship. All right, so we see that Ephraim was kicking it with the Mishwish tribes, the ones that controlled Lower Egypt, who our father Jacob didn't have no problems blessing, and then them gonna be the ones that we relied on instead of relying on Almighty Yah, and then the ones from Lower Egypt would succumb to the ones from Upper Egypt, who worship the multiple god systems and so forth. Oh man, it's about the worship of Yah. All right, so we see that Assyria worshiped Almighty Yah. Now let's read what Prophet Jonah did when he went there. All right, Jonah. Arise and go to Nineveh, that great city, and cry against it, for their wickedness has come up before me. But Jonah rose up to flee to Tarshish from the presence of the Elohim, and went down to Joppa, and he found a ship going to Tarshish. You know, he was on the ship. He was on the ship, and it tossed around and so forth, and the folks found out that it was him fleeing the service of the Creator. And then, you know, they throwed him out, and then, you know, the wheel get him in some kind of way. He ended up on the shore and so forth. And the Maritimes were afraid, all right, since they done throwed him in the water, all right, and tell us, I pray, what then occupation is, and he said to them, I am a Hebrew, and that's just what he was. He wasn't an Israelite. He was a yes, Jonah was a Hebrew Israelite. All right, in 760 was, you know, if he was doing Prophet Abraham time and so forth, he'd have just been a Hebrew. Look, and he said unto them, I am a Hebrew, and I fear the YAH, the Elohim of heaven, which hath made the sea and the dry land. Then were the men exceedingly afraid, and said unto him, Why hast thou done this? For the men knew that he had fled from the presence of the Elohim, because he had told them. He told them. You know, Jonah was kind of hard, wasn't he? All right. You know what I'm saying? They done throwed him over and stuff. All right, and cast him over, and Jonah prayed, and the fish, and then he was cast out. All right, and then the word came unto Jonah the second time, saying, Arise and go unto Nineveh, that great city, and preach unto it, preaching that I bid thee. So Jonah arose and went to Nineveh according to the word of the Elohim. Now Nineveh was an exceedingly great city, 3 days' journey, and Jonah began to enter into the city, 3 days' journey, and he cried and said, Yet 40 days, and Nineveh shall be overthrown. So the people of Nineveh believed YAH. Look, so the people of Nineveh believed YAH. So the Assyrians believed the Almighty YAH, and then something happened to them. Something happened to them. They lost their ways. Look. So the people of Nineveh believed YAH, and proclaimed a fast, and put on sackcloth, from the greatest of them even unto the least of them. For the word came unto the king of Nineveh, and he arose, men from his throne, and laid his robe bare, and covered him with sackcloth, and said, and he caused it to be proclaimed and published through Nineveh by the decree of the king and his nobles, saying, Let neither man nor beast, herd nor flock taste anything. Now he can't stop no animals from tasting nothing. Look, but let man and beast be covered in sackcloth. He talking about those folks that didn't believe in Almighty YAH, and that was up out of them rough regions, out of them rough regions up there, and then how that they was kicking it in Assyria, getting educated, but they had brought a wildness and barbarian type of mentality into the region. They bloodthirsty robbing and so why come Assyria went on robbing sprees after that? Because those folks had got control and stopped it YAH worship. See, once a nation is taken off YAH worship, then it's through. It's doomed. It's doomed. All right. So he said, But let man beast be covered with sackcloth, and cry mightily unto YAH. Now what real animal gonna put on some sackcloth and be crying mightily to Almighty YAH? And let them turn everyone from his evil way, and from the violence that is in his hand. And what animals gonna have some violence in their hands that needs to cry out to Almighty YAH? We know who them folks was. It was that serpent seed that was up in Assyria, Nineveh, finna cause their lights to go out, because it was after YAH worship. It was after YAH worship. Everybody come after YAH worship, and they'll work through other people to destroy and to get rid of YAH worship. Who can tell if YAH will turn and repent and turn away from his furious anger, that we perish not? And God saw their works, that they had turned from their evil way, and YAH repented of the evil, but not too long after that. not too long after that, not too long after that, not too long after that, then you get Prophet Nahum in 697 BCE, telling them same folks that is over with. That is over with, and that those folks who they been kicking it with is basically finna destroy them. Ashkenazi and all these folks right here destroyed Assyria. Look, the Babylonian, the Medes, and the Scythians ain't nothing but Ashkenazi. They would destroy Assyria, and Assyria took a beeline straight to the Africa, Egypt, trying to hide, cause it was over with. And then that's when they tried to come through Judah, and King Josiah, being the YAH worshiper from long time ago, a prophecy king from long time ago, stood up, and then he perished because the people's heart wasn't with him like they was supposed to be. And then the them folks that was after Assyria and them would come on and get us and destroy us because we start doing the Egyptian religion and the serpent religion that caused them folks to lose their power in Egyptian in Egypt. You know. But look here, it was other kings that worship Almighty Yah. Men besides the men besides the Assyrian king in Nineveh. Let's look at some of it. Let's go to Genesis 14 and let's see what it says. Now these are non-Hebrews and non-Israelites, and they worship Almighty Yah. So we know Yah worship on this earth is real important. Real important. Alright, go to Genesis. That'll be Genesis 14. Alright, Genesis 14:18. Alright. Genesis 14, then we get to 18. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, that's king of Jerusalem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High. He wasn't a Hebrew Israelite, but he worshiped Almighty Yah, as all peoples did at one time before that serpent who told our mama Eve to be disobedient. See, you being disobedient to the Creator when you worshiping and believing in other gods. And that's what the folks want to get you to do. That's what they want to get you to do by any means and any means necessary. Alright, so we see Melchizedek worship Almighty Yah, and then you got the Jebusite, a Jebusite king worship Almighty Yah, as well as the Philistine kings, and a whole bunch of folks worship Almighty Yah that was around us when we was on a mission to destroy some of them. And then the reason that they didn't, get in the way is because that they was Yah worshipers. Alright, let me see, let's go to second Samuel and see what it say. I had that marked down for a reason. And 2 Samuel 24. 24:16. I go 24 and verse 16. Alright. And when the angel stretched out his hand upon Jerusalem to destroy it, the Elohim repented him of the evil and said to the angel that destroyed the people, "It is enough.
and stay not their hand, and the angel of the Elohim was by the threshing place of Aruna the Jebusite. And David spake unto the Elohim when he saw the angel that smote the people, and said, Lord, I have sinned. All right, and then as you get down, and Gad came that day to David and said unto him, Go up and rear an altar unto the Elohim in the threshing floor of Aruna the Jebusite. All right. And Araunah looked and saw the king and his servants come on toward him. And Araunah went out and bowed himself before the king on his face upon the ground. And Araunah said, Wherefore is it, my lord the king, coming to his servant? And David said, To buy the threshing floor. All right, but all right. And Araunah said unto David, Let my lord the king take it. All right, but anyway, dude was a king too. And all these things did Araunah as the king gave unto the king. Look, and all these things did Araunah as a king. All these things did Araunah as a king give unto the king. And Araunah said unto the king, The Elohim thy YAH accept thee. You know, so I mean, you had everybody knew, man, to worship Almighty YAH. You know, it's just that when that serpent seed get in and cause disbelief and people lose their way, and then that's what happened, man, to us Israelites too. All right, go to Genesis 26. Let's see what this says. So I'm showing that other folks worship Almighty YAH, and you can see this throughout the scriptures. Even the Egyptians did, and I'm gonna show you some scriptures where it say that the Egyptians, my peoples, and then, all right, Genesis 26, 26, 25. And he built an altar and called the name of the altar. Let me see. And he built an altar there and called upon the name of the Elohim and pitched his tent there. And there Isaac served did a well. Then Amalek went to him from Gera and Oza on his friends, and Pichko, the chief captain of his army. And Isaac said unto them, Wherefore you come unto me, seeing ye hate me, and have set me away from you? And they said, we saw certainly that the Elohim was with thee, and we said, Let there be now an oath between us, even between us and thee, and let us make a covenant with thee. See, the first thing is fearing Almighty YAH. You got to have fear of him, and you see they had fear. You know what I'm saying? They had fear. We saw exceedingly that the Elohim was with thee, and we said, let there be now an oath between us. I know that's right. So, you know, all the kind of folks worship Almighty YAH. Now, I'm going to show you some stuff that'll happen when you stop worshiping Almighty YAH. As we did, you know, Jeroboam. You know, I show you that Egyptian stock. Let me show you the Egyptians leaving with us too. In Exodus, that mixed multitude left with us and caused us troubles. Look, go to Genesis 12:38. And a mixed multitude went up also with them, with flocks and with herd and with much cattle. And then I show, you know, that the Egyptians went with us. And then some of this you can see in First Chronicles, when some of our fathers didn't have sons and so forth, and then we let the Egyptians, you know, have some of the daughters and stuff. You know, I think I got a few verses with that type of history in it that I could bring out. It just got to find.
It's gonna be in Chronicles, I think. Let's see, in Chronicles. In Chronicles, the Israelites, when we left Egypt, and that some of the Israelites had to have a Hamite get in. See, look. This is First Chronicles 2:34. Now Sheshan had no sons, but daughters, and Sheshan had a servant, an Egyptian whose name was YAH, and Sheshan gave his daughter to YAH, his servant, to wife, and she bore him Atta, and Atta begot Nathan, and Nathan begat Zabed. See, and then they all into the Israelite registry, but that's gonna be one of them Mishwish tribes that believed in Almighty Yah. That was other lineage, other pharaohs who our father Jacob blessed. And look, during Assyrian times, when Assyria was about to get its lights put out, you can see that stop right here. Look, go to Isaiah. Go to Isaiah, I think it's 18. And look here. Go to Isaiah 19. 19. Look. In that day shall there be a highway out of Egypt to Assyria, and the Assyrians shall come into Egypt, and the Egyptians into Assyria, and the Egyptians shall serve with the Assyrians. In that day shall Israel be the third with Egypt, and with Assyria, even a blessing in the midst of the land, and whom the Elohim of hosts shall bless, saying, Blessed be Egypt, my people, in Assyria, the work of my hands, and Israel mine inheritance. Now I just showed how the Egyptians even got in the lineage, right here. Look, First Chronicles. Now Sheshan had no sons but daughters, and Sheshan had a servant, an Egyptian whose name was Jar. See Jar right there. That's gonna be of the Mishwish stock who we had a connection to that would destroy us too, because they would believe in the Egyptian gods that they was part of too. And we would eventually lean towards their culture, and that's what the book of Jeremiah is about, us going into Africa to do the Egyptian religion. All right. So we see that the Egyptians associated with us, and us associated with the Egyptians, and how some of them Egyptians, believe. But this is what destroyed us, man, about Egypt. Is when Jeroboam come out of Egypt with the Egyptian religion, knowing that we should only be doing Yah worship. And then let's go to I believe that'll be First Kings. Let's go to First Kings and see what we see. First Kings. First Kings. But it's a trip. I want to show this how when Prophet Nahum spoke about Nineveh being destroyed, and how they hurry on up and got into Egypt and so forth, and made a highway, just like Prophet Isaiah said would happen, and them would be the ones that worshiped Almighty Yah in Assyria and so forth, and they was getting out of there, man, before it was closed down time, like the prophet had said that it was gonna close Nineveh down, and then them folks came, and Assyria was wicked and turned wicked. The Beastly folks had took over and stuff, and they stopped Yah worship. The whole thing is to stop Yah worship. That's all it's about, man, and that's all our enemies gonna do, and they'll work through different people too. They'll work through somebody close to you to stop Yah worship, especially if they weak. If they weak, and they can work through them, they gonna want you to stop Yah worship, and that's what it's about. All right, let's go to all right, go to First Kings, and then when you get to First Kings 11:26, and you see Jeroboam the son of Nebat, an Ephrathite, that's an Ephraimite from the tribe of Ephraim of Zerudah, Solomon's servant, whose mother's name was Zurah, a widow woman. Even he lifted up his hand against the king, and this was the cause that he had lifted up his hand against the king. Solomon built Solomon. All right, so then he Solomon started taking on all the more different wives that didn't believe in Almighty Yah and start succumbing to their religion. They getting in him through a woman and stuff, and Almighty Yah said that he was going to split the kingdom, and how because Jeroboam was from that lineage, that that could sin easy, but he believed in Almighty Yah that he would give Jeroboam 10 tribes. But guess what Jeroboam did? He went into Egypt and succumbed to the wickedness that he was supposed to resist. It's smart that if he can resist the Egyptian religion, and he is from a lineage that accept the Egyptian religion, because the tribe of Ephraim had an Egyptian connection. Their mother was an Egyptian. Let's look at this real quick. Go to Genesis. Go to Genesis. Man, that'll be Genesis 42, I think. Genesis 41. 45. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zephaniah, and he gave him to wife Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, priest of On. And Joseph went out all over Egypt. Let me see. And unto Joseph were born 2 sons before the years of famine came, which Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, priest of On, born to him. So, he marrying into a lineage that they worship Egyptian gods right here. So it's going to be easy for the tribe of Ephraim to be influenced by those Egyptian God worshippers if they come around them. And that's what Jeroboam did. And even with the promise of inheriting 10 tribes in the worship of Almighty Yah, and how he succumbed to his ancestral religion. See, once you wake up to Almighty Yah worship, you got to stick to it. You got to stick to it, even though if you was exposed to falsehood at first and stuff. But when you find your way back to the truth, you got to stick to it. Look, so we know Joseph had 2 sons by the Egyptian woman and so forth. All right, and then that would be Jeroboam of that lineage, and that's why come it was easy for him to go into Egypt, and then that's why come it was easy for him to entice Shawshank, the Egyptian king, to come out and rob Rehoboam, because Rehoboam was starting to slip, and he wasn't too strong in Yah worship. This is gonna be Solomon's son. He wasn't too strong in Yah worship. Matter of fact, he abandoned Yah worship. I think I can show this too. All right, so we see that Jeroboam was from the tribe of Ephraim that had an Egyptian connection, and then how that he would go into Egypt when Solomon see the king of Egypt look, and Solomon sought therefore to kill Jeroboam, and rose and fled into Egypt unto Shoshank, king of Egypt, which was in Egypt until the death of Solomon. So, meaning he there with Shawshank, and then this same dude would come out and rob Rehoboam. See, look, and Rehoboam went to Shechem and such and such and such. Let me see, and for he was afraid for the presence of Solomon. And, Jeroboam dwelled in Egypt, and they sent and called Jeroboam. All right, but it's one of these pause. Well, Shawshank came out and robbed Rehoboam, robbed him, of all the gold and stuff in the temple, which showed that he was down with with Jeroboam, his kin. See if I can find that. Shit, Shank, come on now. But anyway, your boy, would put uh, uh, 10, 10 tribes on us. I mean, he would put the golden calf Egyptian, Hathor the cow, on the 10 tribes, which would doom us. All right, let me see what's in Second Chronicles. What's that? 12. Second Chronicles 12. Let's see what it says. All right, I know what that's saying. That's not it. Second Chronicles 12. All right, there go with Rehoboam. All right, see, look. See how what's the name ran there. Look, and Shawshank therefore to kill. You know what I'm saying? And dude went and hid in Egypt. Jeroboam arose and fled to Egypt unto Shawshank. All right, and then look here. Jeroboam brought that Egyptian religion out on us, but look who came to help Jeroboam. Where is that at? I had just seen it. All right. And it come to pass, this is Second Chronicles 12, and it come to pass when Rehoboam had established the kingdom and had strengthened himself, he forsook the law of the Elohim and all Israel with him. And it come to pass that in the 5th year of King Rehoboam, Shishak, king of Egypt, come up against Jerusalem because they had transgressed against the law. So, they go Rehoboam getting it and by Shawshank, but I think that they was trying to establish the Egyptian religion on Israelite soil, because if you go to that'll be First Kings, and this is after the kingdom split, and then you'll see this. Look, if the people go up, this First Kings 20:26. And if the people go up to the sacrifice of the house of the Elohim at Jerusalem, then shall the hearts of this people turn again unto their Elohim, even unto Rehoboam, king of Judah. And then all right. So then this is what he set up. Whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold, and said unto them, it is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of Egypt. You know, those golden calves ain't nothing but Hathor the golden calf, and so forth. Hathor the golden calf is Isis in horses. Isis Is and Horus. All right. Now, I want to show something else too. You know, Yah worship was real important. Real important. Yah worship was real important. And they was trying to put the right side of Yah worship, and that's what they was goal was, and that's what the goal is of this earth today is to stop Yah worship. All right, man. I wanted to read these parts, man, about the about Jeroboam. Man, it'd be Second Chronicles, men and how Yah worship stood up to the Egyptian worshippers and so forth. Let me see if I can pull that up. Second Chronicles. Man, I pray this video is making sense to the Israelite community. Second Chronicles 30. All right, yes. I love this story right here. Look. Oh man, I love this. Look, all right. In the 18th year of King Jeroboam began Abijah to reign over Judah, and he reigned 3 years in Jerusalem. His mother name was Micah, the daughter of Uriel of Gabah, and there was war between Abijah and Jeroboam, a Yah worshiper and a non-Yah worshiper. And Abijah set the battle in array with an army of valiant men of war, even 400,000 chosen men. Jeroboam also set the battle in array against him with 800,000 chosen men, being mighty men of volume. And Abijah stood upon Mount Zermarim, which is in the mount of Ephraim, and said, Hear me, thou Jeroboam and all Israel. Ought you to know that the Elohim Yah Israel gave the kingdom over Israel to David forever, even to him and to his sons by a covenant of salt? Yet Jeroboam the son of Nebat, the servant of Solomon the son of David, is risen up and hath rebelled against his Elohim and his Lord. There are gathered unto him vain men, the children of Belial, have strengthened themselves against Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, when Rehoboam was young and tender-hearted, and could not withstand them. And now ye think to withstand the kingdom of Yah in the hand of the sons of David, and ye be a great multitude, and there are with you golden calves, which Jeroboam made for you for gods. Have ye not cast out the priests of the Elohim, the sons of Aaron, the Levites, and have made you priests after the manner of the nations of the land, so that whosoever cometh to consecrate himself with a bullock and the 7 rams, the same will be priests of them that are no gods. But as for you, the Elohim is your Yah, and we have not forsaken him. And the priests which minister unto the Elohim are the sons of Aaron, the Levites. You see Judah telling them that we stood strong in the laws that Prophet Moses gave us. But anyway, those Israelites put the demigod worshippers to the worst. Put them to the worst. And Jeroboam was defeated, and then I think he died not too long after that. He died not too long after that. Man, it's about the Yah worship. And different nations and peoples worship Almighty Yah. We Israelites should have stayed on Yah worship, and then, we would have been all right. You see, and then in our last days, because the folks who we associated with the Assyrians and the Egyptians, I think that they got mad at us because their nation had succumbed to the non-Yah worship, is that they took us down the drain with them. You know, they took us down the drain with them. You see, all them folks, all the nations believed in Almighty Yah, but a element got in that started to change the people ways and so forth. And then they say that that's the serpent worshippers. And then if you look at the religions that's created today, that that comes from the Zoroastrianism, that all of them come after we Israelites broke the covenant, and that was the serpent way of hiding. It's to hide in the religions, make them think that they good and that they got salvation of their own instead of from Almighty Yah. You know, that's all it's about. That's all it's about. All right, Israelites, this is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. I pray some of this message made good. I wanted to show a whole lot of history. You know, you could be, uh, uh, putting the history together, and you can putting history, together, and man, it'll come out entirely different sometime. And this one, I was gonna show a whole lot of connections to Egypt and the religions that broke us down. But we Israelites basically know that it was an Egyptian element that believed in Almighty Yah. Our father Jacob blessed Pharaoh. Why would he bless Pharaoh if Pharaoh ain't gonna believe in the Creator? All right, this is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood.